I never planned to destroy my sister. I only wanted to say no. But the moment I refused to give her half my bonus, she showed me exactly how dangerous entitlement can be. And that decision turned my own blood into my biggest enemy. My sister had always believed one thing. Because she had kids and I didn't, my life was somehow less important, less valuable, less deserving. I was the backup plan, the quiet one, the reliable one, until the day I stopped being useful. The bonus came after 6 brutal years. No shortcuts, no favors, no family help. Late nights, missed holidays, eating lunch at my desk while everyone else celebrated promotions. When my manager told me the number, my hands shook. Not because of greed, because for the first time, I felt secure. I made one mistake. I told my sister. Her message arrived that same evening. Congrats on the bonus. You should give me half. You know I have kids. No question mark, no hesitation, just a demand. I reread it 3 times, waiting to feel amused. Instead, my chest tightened. I typed back slowly, calmly. I'm sorry, but no. I worked really hard for this. That was it. 1 sentence, 1 boundary, and everything exploded. She called me selfish, cold, unloving. She reminded me again that she had children, as if motherhood gave her ownership over my paycheck. An hour later, she was at my door, uninvited. Her face wasn't angry, it was offended, like I had broken an unspoken contract. You don't even need that money, she said. You don't have a real family. That sentence stayed with me, because that's when I understood something terrifying. She didn't see me as a sister. She saw me as a wallet with a heartbeat. I told her quietly, my bonus is not your entitlement. Her expression changed instantly. Not hurt, not sad, threatened. And then she leaned closer and whispered something she thought would scare me into obedience. Something she believed would force me to give in. She was wrong. That night after she left, shaking with rage, I sat alone in my apartment and made a decision. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't beg her to understand. I would let her show everyone who she really was, step by step, legally, without mercy. Because some people don't learn when you say no. They only learn when consequences arrive. The next morning, I woke up to silence. No messages, no calls. At first, I thought maybe she'd cool down. I was wrong. Around noon, my phone buzzed. It wasn't a text, it was an email. Long, carefully written, and full of poison. She reminded me of every favor she'd ever done for me. Every ride, every family dinner, every time she'd introduced me as my successful sister. Then came the real reason she was writing. If you don't help me now, she said, don't expect me to protect you anymore. Protect me from what? I kept reading. She claimed she'd been covering for me for years, telling family members I was generous, kind, supportive. And now she said she'd tell them the truth, her version of it, that I was greedy, selfish, heartless, a woman who chose money over children. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. This wasn't a sibling argument anymore. This was blackmail. By evening, the first call came in. My mother. Her voice was tight. Your sister says you refused to help her. She's very upset. I didn't defend myself. Not yet. Because I could already hear it forming, the narrative. Poor mother of 2, cruel, childless sister. A story people love to believe. Then the group chat messages started. Aunties, cousins, family friends. Passive comments. Family should support family. Money comes and goes, but kids are forever. No one asked me what actually happened. They never do. That night, she sent one final message. Short, sharp. Last chance. Half the bonus, or I tell everyone who you really are. I stared at the screen for a long time. My hands weren't shaking anymore. I wasn't scared. I was calm. Because in that moment, something became very clear. If I gave in now, this would never end. Next time it would be my salary, then my savings, then my future. So I replied with just one sentence: do what you have to do. I knew what would happen next, and for the first time, I wasn't running from it. I was ready. Because while she was busy turning family against me, I had already started documenting everything: the messages, the threats, the manipulation. Every word she sent me was becoming evidence, and she had no idea. That night, I opened a new folder on my laptop. I named it, Just in Case. She thought she was about to ruin my reputation. What she didn't know was that she'd just getting me permission to stop protecting hers.
By the end of the week, the story had spread. Not the truth, her version. I didn't even need to ask. I could feel it in the way people spoke to me. Short replies, cold tones, that familiar pause before they answered, like they were choosing sides. And they had. Family dinners became uncomfortable. My phone stopped ringing, except when someone wanted to lecture me. You know your sister is struggling. You're lucky you don't have kids. Money changes people. No one asked how hard I had worked. No one asked why she felt entitled to half my bonus. In their eyes, the case was closed. Then she escalated. She posted online. Nothing direct, nothing obvious. Just carefully worded posts about selfish relatives and how some women forget family when money comes in. People commented, they sympathized, they praised her strength, and every like felt like a small knife. She wanted me to break, to cave in, to hand over the money just to make the noise stop. But instead of reacting, I did something she never expected. I stayed quiet. Silence made her bolder. She started calling relatives while I was at work, telling them how cold I was, how I changed. She even implied that I'd promised her money and then taken it back. That lie, that one crossed a line. So I stopped feeling guilty. I started feeling focused. I printed screenshots, saved voice notes, backed everything up twice. Every message where she demanded money, every threat, every attempt to shame me into submission. I didn't argue. I prepared. One night, she called me. Her voice was smug. You know everyone agrees with me now, right? I said nothing. You look really bad, she continued. All this could stop if you just do the right thing. That's when I finally spoke. You should be careful, I said calmly. You've been very honest with me lately. She laughed. She thought honesty was weakness. But here's what she didn't understand. I wasn't collecting proof to show my family. I was collecting it to protect myself when she went too far. And she would. People like her always do. That night, I realized something important. She didn't want half my bonus. She wanted to win. She wanted to remind me that no matter how successful I became, she could still control the story. So I decided to let her keep talking, let her keep posting, let her keep lying. Because every word she said was another brick in the wall she was building around herself. And soon, that wall was going to close in. It happened 2 weeks later. She was so confident now, so sure that everyone believed her version of the story. She called me again, this time smiling through the phone. I don't know why you're still being difficult, she said. Everyone already knows I'm right. Your bonus belongs to me. It's just common sense. I didn't answer immediately. I let her words sink in, let her believe she had me cornered. Then she made a mistake, a careless text, a single sentence she thought was private. I can't believe she's keeping it all to herself. I need to make her pay, but no one will believe me if I lose my temper. That was it. The sentence proved everything. She wasn't just asking. She wasn't negotiating. She was scheming. And now she had written it down. I calmly saved it, printed it, screenshotted it, backed it up. Every lie she had told, every accusation she had spread, the evidence was stacking up against her. I decided it was time to act. Not aggressively, not loudly, just quietly, methodically. I sent a single email to our closest family members, carefully worded. I know there have been misunderstandings regarding my bonus. I wanted to clarify everything before it escalates further. Here is the full context, including messages and screenshots of demands and threats. Please review before forming an opinion. Then I hit send. The response was instantaneous. Not angry, not defensive, curious. Family members opened the attachments, read the messages, examined the proof, and slowly the narrative they had believed for weeks crumbled in front of their eyes. When she realized what I had done, she called me in a panic. What did you do?" I remained calm. I gave everyone the truth. "The story you've been spinning doesn't match the evidence." Her voice broke. "But they'll never believe me." Exactly. And that was when I knew. The first step of revenge had begun. Because she hadn't just tried to take money from me. She had tried to control the story. And in doing so, she had handed me the perfect opportunity to turn everything around.
The silence that followed my email was louder than any argument we'd ever had. No one rushed to defend her. No one rushed to accuse me. They were reading. And for the first time, they weren't hearing her voice. They were seeing her words. She started calling everyone, aunties, cousins, anyone who would pick up. But this time, the tone had changed. Her confidence was gone. "You don't understand, she's twisting things. I was just emotional, I didn't mean it like that." The problem was, emotions don't write texts that clean. I attended the next family gathering quietly. No speeches, no explanations. I just showed up. The room felt different. People looked at me, then at her. She sat stiff, forcing smiles, watching every reaction. She was terrified, because she could feel it. The sympathy was shifting. One aunt pulled me aside. "I didn't realize she was pressuring you like that." Another said quietly, "Money doesn't give someone the right to demand." No apology yet, but doubt had entered the room. And doubt is powerful. She cornered me in the kitchen, her voice low, her hand shaking. "Why are you doing this to me?" I looked at her calmly. "You did this to yourself. I just stopped protecting you." Her eyes filled with tears, not because she was sorry, because she was losing control. Later that night, she posted again. Another vague status, but this time, fewer likes, fewer comments. People were watching now, carefully. I went home knowing one thing. She wasn't angry anymore. She was scared. And scared people make mistakes. Big ones. A few days later, she tried a final move. She sent a long, carefully written group message to our family chat. "I feel like I'm being unfairly treated. I just asked for a little help with my kids. I never meant to hurt anyone. I'm just trying to survive." Classic manipulation. Soft, innocent, vulnerable. But I had already anticipated this. I stayed calm. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I opened my folder. All the messages she had sent demanding money. All the threats, the manipulations, the attempts to shame me. I compiled everything neatly, step by step, chronological. And then quietly, I sent it to the same family group. The reaction was instantaneous. People started reading, eyes widened, phones went silent, whispers started spreading. Her story crumbled in real time. Wait, she said that? I thought she was just upset. These messages, wow. She panicked. Her typing became frantic. "No, that's not what I meant. Please don't post that." Too late. I didn't need to reply. I didn't need to defend myself. I let the truth do the work. And the best part? She realized that no one was going to side with her now.
Not my parents, not my cousins, not even her closest friends who had once believed her. That night, she called me, voice trembling. I can fix this. I can explain. I was calm, almost indifferent. It's too late for explanations. You built your own trap. Now live in it. Her silence spoke louder than words. She finally understood. Her lies, manipulation, and entitlement had been exposed, and there was no way to undo it. From that moment, the power had shifted. I didn't yell. I didn't fight. I didn't humiliate her publicly. I simply let the truth crush her quietly, but completely. The next morning, I woke up to a flurry of messages. She was trying everything. Please stop sending these to everyone. I didn't mean it like that. Can we talk privately? Every message was a mix of panic and manipulation. She thought she could control me with guilt and fear. I didn't respond. Instead, I watched quietly, because by now, her panic was public. Family members were starting to question her. Friends were noticing her frantic behavior. Her credibility was collapsing. She tried calling my mother. "Mom, she's ruining everything. Can't you make her stop?" Mom's response was calm, almost wary. "I'm not taking sides anymore. You've both said your piece. Read the messages carefully." Her voice faltered. For the first time, she realized no one was going to save her this time. Then she called her friends, explained the misunderstanding, posted vague, emotional updates online. None of it worked, because the proof was clean, chronological, undeniable. The manipulation that had once worked in her favor now backfired spectacularly. I stayed patient. Her desperation only revealed more of her true character. Every angry text, every frantic voicemail, every social media post. All evidence of entitlement, all proof of guilt. She was digging her own hole. By the evening, she was exhausted, frustrated, broken. Her energy was spent trying to spin the story. Her lies were unraveling, and I didn't have to lift a finger. Because revenge, when executed properly, doesn't need noise. It works quietly, efficiently, and ruthlessly. It didn't happen all at once. It never does. Truth doesn't explode. It settles. Slowly, heavily. And once it settles, it's impossible to ignore. Family members started reaching out to me privately. Not to accuse, not to lecture. To ask questions. When did she first ask you for the money? Did she really threaten you? Why didn't we know this was happening? I answered calmly, fact by fact. No emotions, no exaggeration. Because I didn't need sympathy anymore. I needed clarity. At the next family gathering, the atmosphere was different. No tension toward me, no judgment in their eyes. But toward her, awkward silence. She sat quietly, barely speaking. The same woman who once dominated every conversation now avoided eye contact. Power had shifted. Someone finally said it out loud. Asking is one thing, demanding is another. Another added, "Kids don't make someone entitled to someone else's money." She flinched, not because they were yelling, but because they were calm. Calm truth hurts more than anger. She tried to interrupt, tried to explain, but for the first time, no one rushed to defend her. They listened. Then they looked at the messages again. And then, silence. That's when it hit her. The image she had built, the struggling mother, the victim, the one who deserved help, was gone, replaced by something far worse, a woman who tried to manipulate her own sister. Later that evening, my mother sat beside me. She didn't apologize. She didn't need to. She simply said, "You were right to say no." That sentence healed something deep inside me. As for my sister, she left early, head down, quiet, no outburst, no drama, just the weight of consequences finally landing. And I knew then, the hardest part of revenge wasn't over, because the next step would force her to face something she had avoided her entire life. accountability.
The days that followed were quiet, but not peaceful. Her phone calls went unanswered, her messages ignored. Her social media updates met with skepticism rather than sympathy. The web of lies she had spun was collapsing, and she realized she was completely alone. Her closest friends began asking questions. Why didn't you tell us everything from the start? All this anger, is it really justified? She tried to explain, to manipulate, to spin the story, but no one listened. She had burned bridges. Not with me, with everyone. At family gatherings, she was barely noticed. Every whispered conversation she overheard was about how entitled and manipulative she had been. No one defended her. No one pitied her. She was invisible. Even her children noticed the tension.
Why is everyone upset with you, Mom? Why doesn't Aunt respond to your messages? Her excuses fell flat. She couldn't lie her way out of this anymore. The truth had surfaced, and she was forced to watch as the world she controlled for so long crumbled. One evening, she called me. Her voice was shaky, broken. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I stayed calm, measured. It went as far as it had to. You had a choice. You made it. Now face it. She cried, not in relief, not in apology, but in the quiet horror of realizing she had lost control of everything. For the first time, I saw her truly powerless, and I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in, because revenge, when done right, isn't about satisfaction. It's about justice. She had chosen greed, manipulation, and deceit, and now she was facing it all, alone. By now, the story had reached its peak. My sister's lies had been exposed. Her manipulation had failed. Her family no longer defended her, and she finally understood something she had never realized before. Actions have consequences. The final gathering was quiet. She arrived, head low, avoiding eye contact. Her usual arrogance was gone. Her usual charm, gone. Even her carefully crafted excuses sounded hollow. I didn't confront her. I didn't argue. I didn't need to, because the truth had already done the work. Family members who once believed her came to me quietly. We didn't know she could be like this. Thank you for being honest. No judgment, no lectures, just acknowledgement. She realized she had lost more than money. Respect, credibility, trust, her own sense of authority in the family, all gone. I finally spoke to her calmly, as if nothing dramatic had happened. You wanted control. You wanted me to give in. You wanted to rewrite the story. But I gave you something better, the consequences of your actions. She didn't reply. Her silence said it all. The lesson had been learned. Some people only understand truth when it's visible, undeniable, and unavoidable. I walked away quietly. No shouting, no vindictiveness. Just calm satisfaction. Because revenge isn't about chaos. It's about justice, timing, and letting people face the reality of their own choices. She remained behind, broken and humiliated. Her lesson? Hard, permanent, unforgettable. And mine? Freedom, peace, and the knowledge that boundaries are meant to be respected. Always.